Good morning. Good morning. Hello. Good morning.
Hello.
It's Dork Talk Daily news show with all the news. You nerd. Well, welcome to a new week, everyone. It is 9:01 a.m. and this.
Oh my god, we didn't start at 9 o'clock? Oh no.
I mean, we did.
Yeah, technically. Bug was being snuggled and then I started crying because I was like, sometimes I just think of all the times that he was outside before he came to us and it just gets to me. I don't know why.
That he was just a dude that was out there.
Yeah,
struggling.
just like wondering, like I don't know. Just I can't even talk about it. I'm just glad he's here now.
Good morning, Sam. Good morning, Kashil. Welcome. Welcome to another week. Welcome to being sad about cats that we're happy about.
Being in our lives now.
Yeah. We had a pretty busy day off yesterday trying to distribute the Diatomaceous Earth, which thus far we can say seems to do its thing. It's
Yeah, it's that stuff that I guess they use for like farm animals. Apparently, that's what it says on
the food grade stuff. Yeah, they put it in like feed
horse
and stuff.
feed and stuff. Like there's a horse on the bag, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Hold on, sorry, I can't see anything, and my glasses are really smudged.
Yeah, because they put it in feed and stuff because it's pretty good at preventing parasites within, and we're not eating it. We're like lining our like baseboards and stuff with it. But like we haven't even covered the whole house yet because it's the process. And it already feels like there's less bugs in here than there were.
Not that our house was like absolutely riddled with bugs, but there was.
It's always been kind of a buggy house.
Yeah,
though.
like we have ladybugs and stank bugs and like just kind of little buggy friends. There was a little spider that was on the bookshelf yesterday, and I was just like, I can't help you. Like I don't, because like it probably came from the carpet and we sprinkled some in the, because like you're supposed to sprinkle it in the like boardy type areas and like the walls, and I 100%. So there's a story. I once saved a like sack of eggs, like spider eggs, from a log when I worked at a kitchen, and we had like a pizza oven, and we had to get logs from downstairs, and sometimes the logs would have spider egg sacs on them, and I was like, I'm not putting that in the fire. Like, am I a monster? Like, there's babies in there and they will die. Like, so I would always just pick them up, put them in a little sauce container, and like then either put them outside or.
No, she brought them in our room. She brought them in our room to hatch.
I did one with the ones that okay, so if the egg sac stayed completely like closed, I would like put it outside. But it opened, and I didn't know what to do with it because I was like, I can't just dump it outside. They'll blow away. The eggs will blow away. So I was like, okay, I guess it's in this container now. And I thought for sure, like, you know, they're not gonna, like, they fell out of the sack. They're not gonna hatch. They hatched. And there was like 70 little baby spiders in this like container. And like and then I moved it to like a more safe space, or so I thought. And our cat Pete, he like knew that there was something important in that container, and he made it his life's goal to just be like, I'm fucking knocking that container down.
Yeah, because you stopped him a couple of times, and then one time,
and he was like, wait, what's in the container, Mom? Why are you stopping me? And then one time he succeeded in knocking a fucking like sauce cup of baby spiders,
like 70 tiny baby spiders.
Normal people don't have this kind of like risk in their house.
It's also like a testament to how I'm the right person for you, because you're just like I think you called me up. I was like at like board game night or something, and you're like, so there's like 70 tiny baby spiders loose in our bedroom, and I was just like, okay. I have the phone, and I made the mistake of like saying this. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? I was just like, it's just what it is.
And then you had to explain why there was 70 baby
it's a Thursday.
spiders.
What are you talking? It's fine.
They're like, how did they get there? Well, Selena brought a cup of them into our room. Why did she do that? Because I care about spiders. I know realistically, like, I should have just put them outside, but I was worried about them. And then, like, after they got redistributed and sprinkled onto our floor, they decided that the best place for their new lives would be behind one of the shelves. Like, they just went straight for that area.
Yeah.
Like, most of them did. And so I was finding like baby spiders just like crawling around in that area for a very long time after that. I feel bad because we probably murdered a few on accident just by like walking and existing, but like I tried to like pick them up out of the carpet and like dust them.
They're so small.
They're
though.
like little tiny grains of like rice with legs.
Yeah.
And they're so delicate, and I was so scared. I was so like I would like have like a piece of paper, and I'd kind of try to be like, okay, but like I didn't count how many there were. Like, I don't know.
Dylan says the best part of waking up is spiders in your cup. Yeah. All of that sets up how much Selena cares about bugs, which is like a feature of being her partner. But she also very much cares about our cats, and is at this point like is like, no, we need these bugs that we don't want out of the house.
Yeah.
Hence
like...
the diatomaceous earth, which is like the idea behind the diatomaceous earth is it's non-chemical, so it's like safe for the cats, safe for the humans. You're not like bug bombing or doing like any of that stuff, and it is a physical irritant. It is literally like the bugs go to like come in, and it's like you build a wall of skeletons, because that's what it is. Yep. It's a whole bunch of skeletons that when they try to cross it, it rips open their little bug spacesuits. And I
don't like to think about it, and Jeff keeps telling me how it works because he's very interested in how it works, and I'm just like, I don't want to know how it works, and I know how it works now.
So we're setting it all up in like one of the more buggy rooms in the house, like downstairs, and like set it all up, and like she's just like, and then we see the stink bug crawl out, and it's like covered in the diatomaceous earth. It takes like 6 steps, and then it's just like it can't move any further. And Selena's like, no, she said. And then she's trying to pick it up to like save the stink bug, and then like she realizes her hands are covered because she was like placing.
Yeah, I had the gloves on, but my gloves were covered in the diet. So I'm like, what do I do? So I had to like wipe my gloves off, and then I had to pick up this. And he was just sitting on the desk, and then he disappeared. So he must have walked away. Like he decided that living was still something he wanted to do that day.
He's not gonna live,
despite it's like apparently you described it to me as like little shards of glass just ripping into their little bug bodies.
But it's more metal than that, because it's like skeletons. It's like fossilized like diatoms. So it's like literally like a wall of, like, we just see powder and they just see like a wall of skeletons.
That's
like
fucked up, dude.
Oh, it's so fucking cool. Like, it's
dude,
so rad.
We had a stink bug come in because I sprinkled it in the baseboards of our like door, like our front door, because like, you know, the bugs probably come in through the front door sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And a stink bug literally walked in, like kind of like stopped and just walked right back out, like I don't want any part to do with that, no thank you. So I think they do know. I think they sense it. They're like, whatever is in this area, I don't want any part of it.
It's bad.
Yeah.
Morning, Vince. Sam says mini vacation's been helpful for brain so far. Good. I'm glad. Getting your big massive 80-hour thing edited. I say 80, it's like 30, but still. Good morning, Vince. Did you beat Eddie last night? Let us know. You were fighting Eddie when I went to sleep.
Yeah, I wanted to stay up more because I know you were enjoying the stream too. I was done with that shelf though, and by the time I got done, I built a shelf last night, and like by the time I got done, I was just like, I need to be unconscious or I'm going to cry because it was just so much.
Well, I knew that we had a 6 a.m. alarm coming, and I was just like,
That too.
I would have noped out of that as much as I love Vince. I would have noped out of that stream much faster, but I was just like, still building the shelf, huh? All right.
I didn't know what time it was. I just kept building.
Vince says I have no idea how I'm going to beat this on hard. It's a tough game. Selena did normal, and there was definitely points where it was like, woof. I think you get more used to it and the punch out nature of it over time, though.
Hi, Bug.
But yeah, can endorse the Diatomaceous Earth. Like it's pretty solid.
I mean, you say that. I wouldn't endorse it just yet. It's been one day. Like, let's make sure it doesn't accidentally like chemically burn away our like baseboards or something.
Okay. It's been one day, and it's been day one endorsement at least.
Yeah.
Of the
Well, for the food grade stuff, some people feed it to their cats too. I won't be doing that because that seems like something that's just too over the top risky. I'm not saying the people that do it are like willingly putting their cats at risk. I'm just saying for my own personal anxiety, like I don't know enough about it to feed it to my cats. But apparently some people sprinkle it in their food or in their food dishes to like prevent like flea or worm eggies.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, because it's like ultimately I guess I'd rather not have worms than, like, but like also I just don't know. I know what it is and I know how it works, but like I just don't know.
Do I need to explain the wall of skeletons to you again?
No, please don't.
You know that scene in Terminator where they're just like walking on like human skulls? It's like that.
But bugs.
But bugs.
Bug.
It's pretty great.
Every time the other day you were like, oh, we don't want bugs in our house, or this is an anti-bug powder, I was just like, poor bug. Like
I should just like look at you like,
yeah.
what's that all about?
Yeah, poor baby. Yes. He has claimed one of the cubes as his
of the shelf that you built. Yeah.
It was so cute last night, but semi like a little bit not even annoying, just kind of like, man, I need to get this done. And this cat, like, he decided that he wanted to snuggle me. And like
as you were building a shelf.
Yeah, so he would hop onto the shelf and then like get onto my legs because I was like leaned with like my legs like this, and I was sitting at one point or kind of squatting, and he just like hopped onto my legs and was like, okay. He sat down, put all of his weight on me, and I'm just like, oh, I guess I have to sit down now because I have a very chunky cat on me.
Because he decided it is sitting time.
Yeah, it's sitting time. My baby.
We don't just discuss chonky cats on this show.
We could just discuss Bug. Look at him. He's so beautiful.
Or Diatomaceous Earth. Right. We also talk about all the news you nerd. It's got a whole segment. We like to call it the Daily Quack.
So, real quick, me and my friends have a app for like events that are happening in our lives so that we can plan like stuff like craft nights and things like that.
Yeah.
And today is one of my friends' husband's like kids just like day to get his kid.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, but it popped up on my calendar, and I was like, whose day? Like, what am I like? I was like, what am I responsible for today? Who is that? And then I realized, but it was.
Well, you guys use like a whole separate app.
Because I think one of us doesn't have Google Calendar, And I'm already a part of a Google Calendar. I don't know if you can be a part of multiple. That would get a little confusing.
No, you just choose who you share your calendar with or certain dates with. Like you just put a date on your Google Calendar and then you hit share with these people and then it automatically goes on their Google Calendars too. And you don't have to see their whole calendar.
But that's what we like, is being able to see what is planned for our lives.
Okay, then you just share your Google Calendar.
Oh, I don't know that everyone in this group has a Google Calendar.
Okay.
Maybe.
That's all fine.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, I don't use this app mostly. Like everyone else updates it, and sometimes I remember to.
Yeah.
But like, I already use Google Calendar, so like it's hard for me to also update this calendar. I think there's an option where you can like sync both things, but I haven't figured it out yet. So.
Well, that's when I was still in the band, they would use Band Mule, and I was just like, can we just use Google Calendar?
Guys just use
like
Google
the Poly people figured this out already. You just use Google Calendar. Like it's because prior to my stint of being a Poly individual, I didn't use Google Calendar, and then you kind of have to because you have to go like, okay,
who is on this day and like what are we doing this day?
I'm seeing 3 different people. You're seeing 3 different people. When in the next 2 months could we meet again? You know, like it was very. You had to do that.
Yes.
But then.
Oh.
He's having a good morning.
He's just having a great morning.
Let's start with this, I guess. Gaming hardware was always expected to struggle in 2024, but it was a worse than analysts expected.
I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Okay.
I will be right
back. This is from Eddie McCook over at GameSpot. Who says Circana has shared new video game data that shows how challenging 2024 was for video game hardware. Total spending on PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch devices in the U.S. declined a gargantuan 25%, dropping to $4.9 billion, down from $6.45 billion in 2023. Okay. For December 2024 specifically, spending on new video game hardware fell 29%, declining to $1.1 billion. PS5 hardware sales in December 2024 dropped by 18%, with Xbox Series X/S and Switch sales declining a more precipitous 38%. A major drop in spending on video game hardware is expected, of course, given the PS5, Xbox Series being past their prime selling peaks and the Switch's maturity in the market. Circana's Matt Piscatella said. That said, Piscatella commented that the decline was bigger than he expected. PS5 was December 2024's best-selling console platform in terms of unit sales and dollars, with Switch coming in second place. For 2024 overall, PS5 led the way in unit and dollar sales, followed by Xbox for dollar sales and Switch coming in at number 2 for unit sales. Sam says analysts need to stop being greedy fucks and account for everyone being broke as shit. Of course, we're not buying consoles and $1,200 graphics cards. I think this is them doing that, though. I think this is an analyst saying, like, hey, these are the numbers. These are the numbers that were forecast, and these are the numbers that are falling way short of those, which is probably a pretty good indication that people are pretty broke right now, because it's like people still want these things, but sales are not what they would hope for or expect. Also of note is that 49% of all PS5 consoles and 43% of Xbox Series X devices sold in December did not have a disk drive. For 2024 overall, all digital consoles made up for 45% of PS5 units sold and 44% of Xbox Series X/S consoles. I kind of feel, I mean, like, Sony's unique in that up until very recently, they manufactured most of the Blu-rays that the physical games were made on, so they were like double dipping as far as money made went. But they shut that stuff down now, so they're no longer producing Blu-rays. They still own the technology, I think. No, that patent's probably up now at this point too. I don't know. Don't quote me on any of that because like I don't have my fingers in that research, but I know they recently stopped Blu-ray production, but other places can do it now. But if they're gonna sell discless consoles, they should do what the TV market is doing, and they should be like dirt cheap because you're going to have to buy software. And you know you're not going to be buying used software. They should be getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. It's kind of ridiculous that they're going the other direction.
I will be back again. Sorry.
I love you.
I love you too.
I promise there's some articles you're interested in today. Sam says, but Jeff. Something else to know is that while PS5 is pacing 7% ahead of the PS4 in terms of unit sales after the first 50 months on the market, Xbox Series X/S sales are down 18% compared to the Xbox One. Yeah, it's not doing well. Another key statistic was that the PS5 is now the number 3 best-selling console in U.S. history of all time based on dollar sales, only behind Nintendo Switch and Xbox 360. PS5 is now the number 11 best-selling console in U.S. video game history based on unit sales. Nintendo is launching the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2025, and that should help improve hardware spending this year. Yeah, but it's not going to do as well as you guys think it's going to do. Unless, like, the economy, like, radically turns around. Microsoft is said to be cooking up a new console and a new Xbox handheld device, while Sony is rumored to be developing the PS6. In terms of video game sales in 2024, in the U.S., Call of Duty Black Ops 6 was the number 1 best-selling game of the year. Sam says, but Jeff, that cuts into their 400% profits. Vince says number 3 in dollars versus number 11 in units, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Nick says, really? That's surprising. Good morning, Nick. The Call of Duty was the number 1? Is that the really? It's insane to me that Call of Duty was given that it's on Game Pass. That's the thing but it's because no one has an Xbox and no one's in the. That's the thing is Xbox banked everything on their system and their ecosystem, and everybody was just like, no. What if we didn't? What if we went out and bought a PlayStation instead? Which is kind of insane. Fortnite has 58 creators that got paid over $1 million in 2024, and 7 of those made over $10 million. This is from Rich Stanton over at PC Gamer. Says Epic has released a 2024 year in review of the Fortnite creator ecosystem, and surprise, surprise, there are a lot of big numbers to be had, as well as an overview of the year just gone. The publisher also took an opportunity to share some of the future plans for Fortnite, which, going by these figures, is simply bigger than ever. The number of Fortnite creators tripled over the year from around 24,000 in 2023 to 70,000 in 2024. The number of islands created is 198,000. And on average, 60,000 creator-made islands are played every single day, with 70% of the player base enjoying both Epic-made and creator-author content. I didn't even know that shit was there until I saw my kids just going like see if there's a such and such one. See if there's a this and this one. And they were like finding like Five Nights at Freddy type things made in Fortnite, which I thought was weird. But apparently it's a thing. Nick says, I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently it is, and apparently, much like back in the day, making hats and selling them for, what was the Valve game with all the hats? That also never made it to 3. But people would make hats and sell them and make absurd amounts of money. People used to make absurd amounts of money selling like things for Second Life too. But apparently Fortnite's where the money's at right now. Then the money. Epic says it paid out a total of $352 million to creators in 2024. But then comes possibly the most interesting breakdown and review. Just under 30,000 creators received payouts of $100 to $999. Around 5,400 made 1,000 to 9,199. 10,000 basically. 1,728 made between 10,000 and 100,000. And then we get into the people who are really making bank. 418 creators made between 100,000 and 300,000. That's like a not just a job. That's like a job. That's that's insane. That's more than I paid for my house. 154 made between 300,000 and 1 million. 37 people made between 1 million and 3 million from Fortnite's creator program in 2024. 14 people made over 3 million, but less than 10 million. And right at the top, there are 7 individuals who made over $10 million from their Fortnite creation in a single year. That's 58 people who made more than 1 million from Fortnite in 2024, with many making a lot more. The fact that Fortnite is so big that Epic is now paying out roughly $250 million to community creators in a single year is almost impossible to wrap your head around. Other stats. Players spent 5.23 billion hours playing games made by creators, which represents 36.5% of total Fortnite playtime and continues to rise. Epic notes that these numbers are increasingly boosted by non-combat creations such as social roleplay, party games, death runs, and horror. This has no doubt been helped by Fortnite's ongoing mission to get every brand ever into the game, with creators able to use these official tie-ins, which is pretty remarkable when you think about it. Assets from brands like Lego and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles can be used, and Epic says this allows creators to develop authentically. So people are like making like fan fiction with IP and making money off of it. That is pretty remarkable and weird. Yeah, Epic says this allows creators to develop authentic commercial games using world-class IP without getting lost in contracts or negotiations. That's absurd, considering, like, Nick says, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, considering that, like, we're doing stories every other day of, like, Nintendo suing the pants off somebody for, doing mod stuff, and the fact that you can just be like, here's a game where Peter Griffin makes pancakes in Fortnite and sell it for money, and yeah, kind of crazy. Epic lists some of the creator highlights of the year, one of which shows the above perfectly. Pizza Shop Tycoon boss fight. Use Fortnite's assets to create an authentic and engaging Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles experience that has proven wildly popular and is officially licensed. As for the future, Epic says it will be moving Scene Graph into beta, including custom items and launching additional tools to help you build deeper, more complex games with UEFN in new and popular genres. On top of this, it's committing to improving the insight tools for developers, improving the Discover experience where players explore the range of what's available, and promises a roadmap by the end of the month with more details. It's crazy. This is the idea that like Fortnite has become this is nuts. I remember like when like the Rock Band stuff was like first starting to happen, and someone had to explain to me like, no, it's Guitar Hero or Rock Band, but it's inside Fortnite. And I was like, but Fortnite's where you build things and try to do the battle royale, but you're like building at the same time, and like they're like, no, that was Fortnite. That's not what Fortnite is anymore. It can be. That can be what Fortnite is. But Fortnite is all of these things. And it's crazy because like Tim Sweeney, when I was a little kid fucking around with making video games, Tim Sweeney was like building some of the like early like ZZT, which no one remembers what the fuck ZZT is. But when I was a kid, that was one of the earliest like, hey, weird kid who like fucks around on DOS and wants to make games. Like, here's this thing called ZZT, and you can make a bunch of games in it and share them on message boards. And it's weird to see Tim Sweeney like slowly turn Fortnite into like what his vision of like things like ZZT was. It's absurd. Nick says what Epic is doing is so close to that Ready Player One thing, except the problem is the community is like 8 to 16-year-old. Yes. No, it's
a lot of laundry baskets.
What?
Said we have a lot of laundry baskets in our room right now.
We do have a lot of laundry baskets in our room.
Well, this one is pretty much empty, save for a witch hat for some reason. There's like a witch hat in this laundry basket.
That is odd.
And then that laundry basket just has like because I had to take everything off my other shelf to put onto the new shelf that I built last night.
Yeah.
And it's all in that laundry basket, so I could keep it all together, so I didn't lose it.
And it's just in the laundry basket.
I was like, dang, we have like multiple laundry baskets in here, and I don't remember like bringing that one in here because it was out there.
I can guarantee you, I did not.
Okay, that's weird. Maybe one of the kids did because they were just like, this laundry basket's in my way. I'm moving it. But now it's in my way because I've hip checked my thing, or I've hip checked myself on that thing like 7 times. Like I just keep accidentally running right into it when I try to like leave the room. I'm like unaware of the space that it takes for me to like leave through the doorway, and
I'm very proud of you for putting that shelf up and everything else.
It might not last there. I understand that aspect.
That space is for my fat ass is
it's a little
tough.
It's tricky for me, and I'm like very small. But I was thinking if it doesn't work there to just take these 2 shelves and put them over there, and then
it would work there.
And then like take that big one and put it right here.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Would you like to quit our jobs and make things for Fortnite?
No, not really.
But people are making like millions of dollars making things for Fortnite.
That's cool, but like, I don't know. I don't think I could.
But Hatsune Miku is in Fortnite now.
What did you just call her?
Hatsune Miku? Is that not her name? What's her name?
We've been together for 3 years.
What's her name? What's her name? Tell me.
You're very close.
Oh, yeah.
You're right at the Hatsune. It's not Miko.
Oh, what is it?
I'm sorry.
What is it?
It's Miku.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I got one vowel letter wrong for this thing that I'm not interested in the slightest, except for as an extension of the person I love.
Look at when you disappoint her, this is who you're disappointing. Oh God, she almost fell apart. This is who you're disappointing.
Yeah, but so like the crazy thing about this Fortnite story that I know you're not, it's hard to hold your attention for, but
I just wasn't in the room for like half of it.
Well, for this one, yeah.
Okay.
But it's like they're letting people just like make stuff with all the licensed stuff in Fortnite, and those people are making money off of it. So it's like you're getting to make basically fan fiction but then sell it. It's very weird.
Sounds interesting. I eventually am going to have to make a whole shelf dedicated to Miku because I have so many Miku figures now that I just have to.
Sam said, "Hot Sune Niku."
Yeah, that's what you sounded like.
Sam said, "Sorry, Jeff, the wedding's off. You've disrespected Hatsune Miku."
Yeah, you don't do that.
Vince accepted my apology, though. Family's 100-pound pet tortoise found safe after surviving Eaton fire.
He's 100 pounds.
Yeah.
Where's Bug?
This is from ABC Eyewitness News.
How do they get him anywhere?
I don't know.
I mean, I weigh about 100 pounds. I guess you can pick me up and but not like the way you would like a pet, or you're just like, okay, I need you to like be here, or go in this crate, or like.
I mean, yeah, you walk into your own crate.
I did really walk into that one, huh?
Much like you do with your crate.
Oh my god! You think we have room for a crate in here?
Yeah, there's no space. Sam says that's wholesome and needed. Thank you for a good story. Yeah. Guys, 100 pounds is not that heavy, Sam also says.
It is for me. I couldn't pick myself up. Probably.
Nick says there was a turtle that a family packed away to move in like the 70s, and then they found in the 90s in a box in their place, still alive.
Oh my god, what? That's so... Oh my god. That turtle was just in a box for 20 years. What? What was he doing in there?
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Thank
follow.
you for the follow.
Oh
Hi.
my god, could you imagine being trapped in a box for 20 years with no other like stimulus? Or I mean, he probably heard people talking outside the box, but like
that's my family. They'll open it up eventually. He hibernated basically. Yeah, welcome in, Mia.
20 years?
A family in Altadena is rejoicing after their 100-pound pet tortoise was found amid the devastation of the Eaton fire.
This is a different tortoise, by the way. These people didn't put him in a box for 20 years.
Rocky survived the fire after the family lost their home. She was found safe on Thursday, January 9th, around 4:30 p.m. near Mara Vista Avenue. The San Dimas Sheriff Station posted a video showing the deputy carrying Rocky to safety. And I think we have that. Boom. Let's see if we can.
True heroes. Oh my God. True heroes.
Look at
Yeah, look at that. An Altadena family is rejoicing after their pet tortoise was found. Rocky survived the Eden fire after her family's home burned down. LA County Sheriff's deputies say they found the 100-pound tortoise last week inside her burrow in the backyard. Rocky's family says they tried to get back to their property to search for her numerous times, but were denied access due to gas leaks.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, sure is.
Oh, that's good that they
Tony's here tracking all of it. I mean, it has arrived.
I don't care about whatever you're trying to talk about now. All right.
What?
Pizza driver gets $2 tip in snowstorm. Outcry leads to 30,000 more. Police officer, this by the way is from Sydney Page at the Washington Post. Says police officer Richard Craig was at a bus crash during the height of a January snowstorm when he noticed a pizza deliverer trudging through the falling snow. The man was breathless and holding an empty bag. It was shocking to me. The roads were nearly impassable, said Craig, a police lieutenant in Avon, Indiana. I was like, I can't believe this kid is doing this. I've got to record this because no one will believe what I'm saying. Craig struck up a conversation with the delivery person, Connor Stefanoff, 20 years old, who works for Rockstar Pizza in Brownsburg, Indiana. Craig learned that Stefanoff had walked more than half a mile from his car to complete the $40 pizza delivery.
What?
As the road was blocked because of the crash. Did you get a good tip? Craig asked Stefanoff. $2, Stefanoff replied.
Oh my God.
Are you kidding me? Craig said. Cold-blooded. The standard tip for pizza delivery workers ranges from 15 to 20% of the order's costs, and people often tip more for large orders and when there's bad weather. This man walked through hell and high water to deliver a pizza, Craig said in the video on the January 10th interaction that he later shared on TikTok. It made me angry, said Craig, who described the neighborhood where Stefanoff had made the delivery as very affluent. Yeah, I can tell you from pizza delivery, the richest houses were always the worst tippers, and then the ones where you go up to be and you'd be like, you guys don't need to give, like the ones where you were worried about how the people are living and stuff were always the most generous tippers. It was crazy. It made me angry, said Craig, who described the neighborhood where Stefanoff made the delivery as very affluent. He ran to his car and grabbed whatever cash he had in his wallet, about $15, and handed it to Stefanoff to make up for the small tip. That's enough to rattle someone's spirit and really distract from the continuing that positive work ethic they have, said Craig, adding that he also called Stefanoff's manager to praise him. Seeing people go above and beyond, especially in their job, it's rare to see someone his age do anymore. Stefanoff said he didn't consider any other option but to brave the snow. It's his job. Yeah, what is he going to do? He was wearing sneakers and a sweatshirt, no jacket or boots.
I never delivered at Marco's, but I'm sorry, I would not. I would call the people and I'd be like, hey, I can give you like a refund. I'll give you a free pizza as well for your trouble. I'm not walking a half mile. The pizza's going to be cold by then.
Yeah.
And then you're going to tip me $2?
You know several people.
I know you would probably do that.
You can probably think of like other delivery drivers we've worked with that would do that.
100%. Yeah. And y'all are too nice. Because like and like this is a nice story, but like he should not have had to do that. That's dangerous.
They said, what the hell? Put on a coat, kid. Yeah. I had a job to do. Good morning, Mello. Mel said, this horrible, does anyone remember Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo? When I see things, I always think of that one guy with whispers the tall lady. It's been ages since I've seen that film. I kind of forget it exists. It's maybe the best rhyming title to worst movie ratio.
My God. I just had a heart attack because Andrew's using our computer.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the fuck?
What is happening?
Hi. Waffles.
I had a job to do, Stefanoff said, noting that he was aware of the $2.15 tip beforehand as the customer added it online.
Oh, the way I would be like, no.
And he delivered the order regardless. It was either that or call the shop to refund him. Craig's impromptu tip, Stefanoff said, surprised and delighted him. There's really good people out there, he said. Someone will see the good you do and you will get rewarded. Little did Stefanoff know that much larger tip was coming his way. After Craig posted the video on TikTok, people were equally as outraged as he was about the meager tip, and they asked to contribute. Craig decided to make a GoFundMe campaign on July 12th to collect tips for Stefanoff. The $15 for me wasn't enough, Craig said. Although Craig set the goal for $500, more than $29,350 has poured in. Both he and Stefanoff are stunned.
That is wild.
It's incredible. We've gotten such great support, said Craig, explaining the more he learned about Stefanoff and his financial circumstances, the more he was inclined to promote the GoFundMe campaign. Stefanoff lives with his grandmother, and he used his earnings from delivering pizzas to help pay the bills.
Aww.
He doesn't have his own car, so he drives his grandmother's to make deliveries. She didn't want me to go drive that day, he said. Rockstar Pizza, which gave its delivery workers the option to stay home during the storm.
That's nice of them, at least.
Commended Stefanoff Oh, I just commended Stefanoff in a Facebook post. He's a great kid who works hard, and we're so happy to have him, the restaurant wrote. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for showing Connor so much love and support. You have no idea how much this positively affects his family, Rockstar Pizza wrote in a subsequent Facebook post. Stefanoff will use his windfall to buy a car. He also plans to give a portion to Craig to donate to charity of his choice, and he will put the rest towards college, which he hopes to attend someday. It'll be a huge help, he said, of the funds. Stefanoff said even if his actions that day yielded no response, he wouldn't have done things differently. Can you fucking imagine being the person that gave the $2 tip? Because that community knows at this point, as we're sitting here reading this news story, it'd be like, fucking Greg Miller started all this by doing, or whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah.
Whatever, like, the guy there's like,
Oh my God.
did you hear what happened to Bill's cheap ass? He gave a $2 tip. Now it's a GoFundMe for $3,000.
Yeah. That's wild. Like, again, we had some really silly policies where I worked pizza wise where like they would be like, oh, like they never gave you the option to stay home if it was like, and I know that like your work ethic is like no matter what's happening, just do it, the thing. But like I do agree that like certain work, like road conditions should be like accounted for. There was one time they let us close early because there was a literal like weather advisory and it was coming, and like as the snow was like coming down and like it was real bad, we were like closing up everything at like 6 I think or 7 or something.
Yeah,
which we usually would close at like 11.
I think I was mad because I was just like, oh man, I could drive in this and other people can't. I have all-wheel drive and I can deliver and make a bunch of money. And they're like, we're shutting things down. And you're like, oh, it's so good we're shutting things down. They're like, you're inside. Why do you get a choice?
Because I don't want to be out in this, and I don't want you out in this. I don't want anybody out in this.
I was like counting the dollars in my head I was about to make because everyone's like, oh, you'll deliver? Like, absolutely. And then most people don't give you $2 in that weather. They like...
Yeah, if you give somebody $2 in a snowstorm when they deliver you pizza, you're not a good person.
I would agree. Mello, it's probably not going to let you post a link if that's what you're trying to do. You have to do that in the Discord. We had that all turned on for everybody, and then too many people, not people, they were bots, but too many bots came in and were posting links, so we had to limit it. It's okay. Yeah, sorry. I don't ever want to turn anything like that off. It just turned into like constant barrage of like best viewers here, and we had to shut it off.
Yeah.
Nick says, I would assume it affects his family around 29,000 worth. That's about how much. Nick says, I want to see the other side of the story where they interview the rich people and be like, so why were you so cheap there? Yeah. Cause that's yeah, I want to see that investigation. I want to see like a 2020 story of like, and we found the people. I wonder, there's comments here. I wonder. This is sometime the internet's gotten better. And you can't, most places have like a policy against posting any kind of personal information for anybody. Especially because it's like there was
some people take it a little too far too.
Yeah. But sometimes I do miss the old days of the internet, which would be like, hey guys, I found the people that gave the $2 and you'd click through and then you'd be on their Facebook page and then you'd find like these rants of like, so many people are coming after me, but why tipped appropriately for blah, blah, blah. And it would just be like, oh my God, the drama.
Yeah.
And you know, we're past those days of the internet for probably the better because it protects especially women. But like it was
Hello again, Waffles.
sometimes I miss that Wild West internet that
Hello. What you doing?
was just a little more crazy.
Girl. Come here. Come here, sweetheart. Hello, babies. Hello.
But yeah, Mella, we used to have like a much more like open policy with stuff, but it's
Okay, bye.
Twitch goes through varying levels of like good and bad with that kind of thing. Like it'll be where you can kind of like go and do a show and like you're only gonna see earnest actual humans, and then all of a sudden it's like something slips by, and we're pretty protected because of Sam. Sam's really smart about that kind of stuff and really cautious about that kind of stuff. So he shores up a lot of our protections, and we'll like as culture kind of ebbs and flows, we'll go and like add and remove permitted
that pillow
terms.
over there, that black velvety pillow, you see it?
Yeah.
Was Pete, and I was like, "Holy crap, Pete's huge! What is going on?" It's just
He is right there, but
Is
he's
he?
yeah, he's on the like I can see him. He's on this side of it.
Oh, he is.
You're like at first you're like, I thought that black thing was Pete. I'm like, that's Pete. He's right there.
No, the giant pillow.
Yeah.
I can't see Pete over the blanket from this angle. He really likes that spot.
Mel says it's okay. It's funny to me, but you might think it mean person. So, Sam says, "Are you talking about link protection?" I was like, "What did I do?" Yeah, I think I might have turned that bit on, but like I'm just saying that Twitch ebbs and flows with like, and I used to be in other people's Twitch chats, and they like didn't allow links, and I'd be like, "That's so lame." Like I kind of like people could just post stuff and it's cool. Like what if, and yeah, we ended up hitting a point where it's like I just have to shut that off. Always seems no. It just got bad. Well, especially like it's one thing for the morning show where like I can see comments and Selena can see comments and
Yeah, I can't when your head's in the way, but yes, understandable.
but you can see them a little. But there's two of us here, and but like when I'm doing the Final Fantasy stream or like the 64 stream, sometimes I would look over and there would just be like a link sitting there for like whole last minutes. Sam said I let allowed links till Twitch did me dirty. Yeah. Well, and then we've had a couple friends like whole ass Discords get shut down and stuff too from just like a wrong link click or two, and it's just you just get to where you're like, okay, this is we can't do this anymore.
Is Pancake in the hallway? I can't see her because the laundry basket's in my way.
I don't see Pancake right now. I see Waffles.
Okay.
Waffles right here.
You know, I just
Sam says, I was going to check how a spam account got past our filter, and as soon as I went to click the username to check the account age, chat scrolled, and I clicked the bad link. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. I worry about that half the time. That's, like, there's just sometimes you go to like reply or something too, and like you go to click and then you're clicking like 3 things down all of a sudden because chat scrolls, and it's like Sam says, and if trying to find those specific links for phishing, I found a wild amount of people on Reddit saying they accidentally clicked on mobile, which is way worse than my semi-protected browser, so I banned all links because there's so much logged in on your phones. Yeah. No, that's... And there's so much logged in on your phones, and there's so much things that you like log in by way of, like, I'm locked out of an account right now that I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get back into, which is going to be tricky because we've folded up a lot of stuff I used to pay for with the shop, And one of them was I used to pay for a, like Jeff at redraptor.com. And I went to like set it all back up and the amount of money it was going to cost to set it up that I probably would have paid without thinking about it before. But like now that we're in leaner times, I'm just like, I paid that for that. And it's so silly because it was such a vanity thing of just being like, no, you can reach me on Jeff at redraptor. Like it was not like that. That's all it was. I could have just used a Gmail. It was fine. But I had that email and used it for forever. And my Patreon, I went to like get into it and they signed me out of it. Not like not the Patreon we use for like taking money in, but the Patreon I use like as like because I supported a bunch of like shows and things that I liked. And I tried to keep that separate from like the one that we take in money on. And it was, I went to log into it and it's still, I don't know what I'm going to do because it's linked to that email and I have the username and password, but they just like hit a thing where they're like, nope, we need 2-factor, and I can't get into it because that email doesn't exist anymore. And so, and I can submit a trouble ticket, but then they have nowhere to send the trouble ticket stuff to. Like the whole thing is like kind of an interesting situation in which I'm just locked out of that. And then I guess I'm just giving those creators that money forever, I guess, unless I like shut the card down attached to it or something, because I can't like get in there and turn this, which I guess that's okay. I could just give the money forever and not get any of the access that I got before. But like that's on me because I got rid of an email account and didn't switch things over. And I think it's really easy to get butthurt about those kind of things when they're trying to keep you safe. But it's like these things are a problem. It's like they're 2-factor sign-ins is a good idea. Nick says that's why I always have my accounts forward stuff to my main account automatically. Yeah, I wonder if I could do that. If I could just, you can get that really cheap if you look domains and email service. I have the domain. I just would need the email service. And I'd have to get it switched over to something. Yeah. It'd be weird. Nick says, yeah, having your session stolen is bad news. Yeah, I wasn't going to call you out, bud. Like, I know that happened to you, too. Yeah, I'll look into it. Do you just need to temporarily change stuff to different accounts? There's probably a way to route it. All that to me was say that it's like, I get the customer reaction to this stuff being like, ugh, why can't I just stay logged into my thing? And there is a level of like, when Netflix and Disney Plus does it, it's because they want more money, right? And but it's really easy to think that everything's like that, and they aren't out there trying to protect you. And like Selena and other people I know have dealt with it, which is like, this is something that affects women more often than it affects men, but sometimes people have to change their phone numbers, right? That's a thing that people sometimes have to do. And trying to get into any of these accounts when you've changed your phone number is sometimes borderline impossible.
And infuriating. Like, I get why they do it, but like, I can prove I'm me. You're not letting me prove that I'm me. And like, some of these things, they'll have you do recovery questions, but they won't ask you the recovery questions. They'll ask you for your phone number. And sometimes my old phone number was hooked up, and I have a different phone number than I did like 3 years ago. And now it's just like, there's certain things I guess if I spent like a good amount of time trying to get into them, I could, but it's like once I devote about an hour and I'm just like, I can't get into this like without like, and they'll have you like be like, okay, well, do you want to try a different way to recover this? I think it was like a Windows Live account, I want to say, or something like that. It's like, do you want to try recovering this a different way? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, okay, well, we'll reach back out to you in 24 hours. And I'm just like,
And they're probably calling that other phone number that you don't have anymore, and you're just like
I don't
reach
have
out
it.
to me where?
I don't even think, I think it's still on my old phone that doesn't have service anymore, so it can't get texts.
Right.
So like it's just silly.
Because for a while you had both phone numbers, and then it was like every time something like this happened, you'd be like, well, let me charge up my old phone so that I can like.
And it's like, it's normally people will just switch things over and that's easy for them. It's not easy for my brain. I don't remember that stuff. It's just not something I've ever been able to be very good at. I have to write down like passwords and emails and phone numbers and things like that because I just don't remember them in the way that other people do.
Nick says Netflix is annoying as fuck. I don't know why, but on my Xbox S that I have in my bedroom, to use basically a media player box, it gets logged out of Netflix every single time I boot up. It's so annoying. At least you can log in with a QR code now. Yeah, that's by design now. That's when they were all doing that stuff where they're like, hey, we're going to start cracking down on password sharing. That's what they meant, is we're going to log you out of shit like crazy now. Whatever your main, whatever they have like decided your main device is, you don't get logged out of, but whatever your like all your secondary ones, you have to re-sign in now all the time. Disney Plus is the worst of them. I will be like watching a show at work, pause it because I'm that weirdo that has like a work show. It's like every time I'm sitting here and being productive, the show is on in the background, right? So and right now it's Bob's Burgers. So it's like I will have Bob's Burgers on. I will be in the middle of Bob's Burgers episode. I will pause it. It's on a computer that's hooked up to another screen. So I will then go home, live my life, come back to work the next day, play that thing. It'll finish that episode, and the second it finishes that episode, it will kick me out of Disney Plus and be like, hey dude, you got to sign back in. And then it's like, okay, and I sometimes I can manage to do it on that device. There's something with the username and password that got a little weird, and it's just like, I'm signed in on the Xbox, can't manage to sign in on the PlayStation, but the Xbox is, for whatever reason, the thing it's decided I don't need to sign back in on all the time. And so it's like, well, I have some combination of Hulu and Disney Plus, and I can sign into Hulu on the PlayStation, but not Disney Plus for some reason. And on the Xbox, I can sign into Disney, but not Hulu. But like they both have both now for some reason. So it's like
too much. It's just too much, man.
It's very confusing.
My brain can't handle all of this information coming at me. It's not how I was meant to exist. I think there's a world where I only use like 2 social medias and have like one main account for everything. That world has not happened yet because I'm still...
Yeah, it was called like 2010. It was great.
Well, no, because I had a Gaia online account, which I kept like forgetting my password to, so then I'd have to make a new email.
You go through emails faster than like any... Like, you go through emails the way drug dealers go through cell phones. It is kind of...
And you think it's this, like, nefarious, like, you just keep, like making new accounts for things. I just get tired of when I was younger, I liked the username that I have now. I like the username I have for everything, and I will probably never change it. I'll be 60 years old and still on the internet as Nipsey, probably. Yeah. But for a while, I was just like, oh, I like this username. And then I'd be like, boop, 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 boop. And then like 2 months later, I'd be like, this username is not me anymore. And there wasn't always an option to change your username and stuff. There is now for like almost everything. But for a while, you had to make an entirely new account. And for things like RuneScape and Gaia, I didn't care. So I would just make a whole new email and a whole new username and a whole new account. And I was like also 12, so I didn't really consider how important these things would be later. I just kind of like, I probably had like 5 Gaia accounts at once. And I think you're not supposed to
They
have.
probably thought you were doing some weird farming
I'm
or
not.
something.
I just don't like my username.
Vince says it sounds god awful. Sounds annoying as fuck. Nick said, what if you boot up the phone and set it to Wi-Fi calling? Would that work? No, because they're still calling that number. You would have to, that number is probably tied to a completely different person or dead now. Because they're looking for the ability to call that number and tie it to a person, or text that number and tie it to a person.
I had, for a while, my Chime account was set through, or not my Chime, something weird, like something where I would put in my phone number and it would come up with someone else's name, but it was my phone number, and like they were still registering it as like, oh, this is your phone number, and it's like, no, I'm a different person.
Well, we ran out of money and my phone was just off for a good portion of last year.
Mm-hmm.
It was like signing into stuff became so hard in a way that you wouldn't think of. I was just like, well, let's save some money. I don't need a cell phone for a while.
Then you started using my phone. Now I get texts from people that I'm just like, I don't know what this is for.
Well, it was crazy because it was like, the worst was like, I was trying to figure out what was going on with the mortgage. And there was something happening where it's like, I needed to get in there, but I couldn't log in because it was like, I hit like the 6 months or whatever where they're like, hey, you can't log in to see your mortgage anymore without authenticating.
Yeah.
And I couldn't authenticate because I didn't have my phone. And I would call them and they'd be like, yeah, I can't tell you that. You have to look online. And
like, I can't look
I
online,
can't look
bestie.
online.
I don't have a phone anymore.
And I ended up having to get my ex-wife to make an account because she's on the mortgage too. So she had to make an account and then log in so that she could see the thing that I could. It was like such a pain. It's like, hey, you know that this house that you wish that I would have been financially able to like buy from you years ago, can you make an account for it and look at it so I could see what late fee I owe for not paying the bill on time? Thanks. It's great. Sam noted that Lena makes burner emails. Yes.
They do. I don't remember them, so they're not very useful as burner emails.
But the best is like when she has to sign into something and it'll be some email like 17 emails ago. And it's like, oh, I don't remember that one. It'll be like, do you remember the password? Because the other thing is she changes the password every single time too.
Yeah, because, well, I had to change all of my passwords a while ago because I have an insane ex-partner and like and they had my passwords to things. So I had to change it. And like, so I don't remember, but I also don't remember what I changed it from. So like, if it's the same password that they had, like I don't even remember that password. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm cursed with a bad memory and.
Oh, see, I remember like I
remember the password once that I used for my old RuneScape account and my Gaia Online account. I remember the main password I used for. Obviously, I'm not going to say it, but like I remember it for some reason very well. But every other password has always been like a struggle to remember. I don't know why.
My brain is just really sticky with those. I could tell you like, you could sit here and tell me like name people that we interact with and be like, this is their password for everything. This is their password for everything.
Why do you know that?
It's like breathing. It's not like I use it. It's just like.
Better hope you never have to like.
Like I've had to know it for a situation or two.
The CIA or something takes you over for like all that information because you just have it like living in your brain.
Yeah, it's like Chuck. Yeah, no, I know it's just like I've had to know it for a situation or two, and like I have to write it down the first time or two, but once I have to type something in like 2 or 3 times, it's there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
not for me.
It would annoy me so much because people would be like, ugh, can you write down this password to things at work? And it'd be like, no, that's really dangerous. Why would I write passwords down? You have to memorize the password. And they're like, what are you talking about? It's like, you don't memorize your like, what do you mean you don't memorize your passwords?
I try to, at least. It's just hard.
Sam says, depending on where you make those emails, they get deleted now. Like Google deletes everything after 2 years of inactivity.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, the old days of things on the internet just running forever are long.
Well, I probably don't have access to a lot. Not that I need access to. I really miss my old RuneScape account. I wish I could still sign into that.
Your old RuneScape?
Yeah.
Is it even active anywhere? Aren't they doing like old school RuneScape as like the new version of it?
There.
Oh, it's your old school RuneScape account?
I think they still let you, like, you had to. I don't remember, but technically old school RuneScape is old RuneScape now too. There's old RuneScape and then there's old I don't know. Okay, I don't remember what I used for the old one.
No, my
either.
new girlfriend.
Oh my god.
Nick said, "Oh, good point on the Wi-Fi calling thing." Yeah. Sam says, "I learned there used to be another Sincerely Sam before I had it." Oh, weird. Maybe we just gotta wait out Dork Duck then, because it's like they've been inactive for a long time.
The Gmail or
No, the twit. Why we have an underscore?
oh,
Although I wonder what that would mess up if like.
probably a lot. Maybe I don't know.
Dork Duck is offline.
When were they last active?
They have 0 followers. They haven't streamed recently. They could be active, like watching stuff and just not.
Yeah, dang. Don't judge them.
I don't know, but like, I remember.
Wait, I think it says in the mobile when they were last active. Not that it super matters. I don't want to try to steal someone's username if they're not, like, if they're using it. Oh my god. Have I ever told anybody the story about how, like, this girl on Instagram, like.
Yeah, because Lena says now that she's going to keep this username forever. In the time of me knowing her, she did try to do a re-event from Nimsy to Peachy Faye, and then
There was this girl on Instagram who, like, I guess had the username before me and had, like, one other account tied to it. And I, like, Googled everything. Like, I, like, Googled before I changed everything over to that username. I checked every single social media that I use and even ones that I don't use because I didn't want to accidentally take someone's username. And I was just like, okay. And I checked. And it was like don't even think I found one with that, like, exact. It was just Peachy Faye, like, without any underscore, without anything. That was the one that I used. And there was no other, like, username anywhere with that. And then, like, literally, like, I think a month later, a girl messaged me and was like, actually, that's my old Tumblr username. And you need to give me it back. And I was like,
what are you?
What are you talking about? That's not. You're messaging me from a completely different account with a completely different username. I checked everything. Like, your Tumblr, like, and then I looked at the Tumblr, and the Tumblr was even spelled different. It wasn't the same spelling. It was like. And I was like, it was like with a Y or something. And I was like, and
were they also doing content stuff? Is that
kind of, sort of, not really? Like, I was literally like, I'm selling resin, I'm doing cosplay, I'm doing this and that. And it's like, it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's when you were like kind of stepping back for content from a second.
It's like, it doesn't matter if, like, I am selling things or not selling things, and they are, like, if they want that username. But it's like, the energy of just like, you need to give that back to me. And I'm like, well, I can see if I can. Like, I even offered, I was like, I already changed a lot of my stuff over, but like, so like, it might be hard for me to like move everything back to something else, but like, if I ever decide to change it, I guess I'll let you know. And she was like, no, you need to do it right now. And then she made a bunch of fake accounts and started harassing me. And then she started following everybody on my Instagram and, like, telling them that I stole her username, and I was like, literally trying to be her. Like, she said that I was, like, essentially, like, I made, like, what is that kind of account called where you, like, essentially take over a username and use their pictures and stuff?
Catfishing?
Yeah, kind of, but not really, because, like, Yeah, I guess that would be catfishing, right?
Yeah, but you were using your pictures and stuff.
I
so
was
you weren't
using
doing
my
that.
pictures. I was not trying to be her. We did.
There's a weird thing in
It was really weird.
like I remember in stand up, there's a show in Chicago that's like a feature show in stand up in Chicago called Comedians You Should Know, which is a very generic name for like a show of like here's a feature show. If you don't know, with stand up comedy, it's like there's open mics and then kind of the next thing it's less to normies.
Welcome to the party, pal!
A Dewbeard has rated us.
Hello.
Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. If you don't know who I am, who we are,
I was gonna say I'm here too.
we're
today,
Dork Duck. I'm
for
Jeff.
once.
That's Lena. This is our daily morning show, in which we cover nerd news and other things.
Thank you for the raid.
Yeah, thank you so much for the raid. Addo, how was your stream? How was Final Fantasy? I fucking love Final Fantasy X. How was it? And welcome back to streaming. Didn't you just come back from a pretty lengthy break? I want to say. I'm gonna say hi to you, but I also have to like go up because I'm like way behind in chat. So I will get there. We're currently talking about so there's a comedy show called Comedians You Should Know. And then when like Chris Hardwick was someone that people liked and like had like a little stand-up empire he was making, he started a show called Comedians You Should Know. And that as just like this big feature show that was like going to have this big national audience and everything. And the people in Chicago were like, hey, don't do that. And the comedy community was like, yeah, don't do that. And I was actually kind of thrown. Because it feels like a really generic name that like one small municipality shouldn't be able to own possession over.
I mean, I do get it though. If you build something around a name, you don't then want any traffic that you are getting
going to like
to
something
the
else.
other thing if you're trying to build something up, even
Yeah.
as chill as you can be about it. Like if you're trying to build something for like financial or status gain, like you.
Well, and it ended up the community made the right call because like that's a show that's still going, and then like Chris Hardwick is like poking his head out of hiding now, but like was but you know was been hiding for the last like 5-10 years. But yeah, like names on the internet that gets weird.
It just was really weird too because it was like instead of just accepting that like that I took this username not in like a way that was like mean or trying to like swoop something away from someone, and it was just like an honest like, hey, I changed my username like everywhere to this, and like it didn't have any, like you didn't have your username set as this on anything, and I checked, and like how would I be able to change my username to this if your username
If you had this already.
and like and then it became this like she then made another account that was like Peachy Faye, but like an underscore, like a period in between, and started following everybody on my thing and saying that like she was like the original and that like she was the one who like I was just trying to take her followers, and I was like, bro, you're following my like best friend from like middle school. Like you don't know them. They were never followed. Like, and it's not that deep. The stakes aren't that high. But like, this girl was just like, and she would dedicate entire days to this, and I would just come back to my computer and just be like, oh, we're still doing this? Okay.
Nick says I've had the same handle for 28 years. Yeah. That's kind of more how I roll. I can't, although at some point I had to stop using my childhood one, which was punk_rocker at hotmail.com.
Yeah, I was going to say that's still one of your emails.
Not really. Hotmail doesn't really exist anymore. Yeah, it's like that sometimes I have to log in something. I have to be like, this used to be one of my email ages ago. And they're like, okay, no one can access that anymore, but here you go. But it was punk_rocker, and the underscore, ladies and gentlemen, sit down, buckle up. The underscore was spelled out.
Yes, it was.
It was PUNK. UNDERSCOREROCKER at everything. That was my username everywhere. Just silly. Good morning, Shiki. Shiki said I'm so bad at memorizing passwords. Yeah, I just can. I don't know what it is. There's something I can't sweep a floor, so I would definitely trade. Sam says I was looking on Social Blade one day. I forget if it was YouTube or Twitch, but the banner was different in the first few weeks of having this name because it was catched in their system from before when someone else had it. I guess it makes sense. Like Sincerely Sam, the alliteration seems like, and there's other Sams in the world. It was just like the Walmart brand of soda, but like Slata was like giggling the other day. And I was like, what? And she's like, this says Sam's Cola. I should send this to Sam. And I was like, I do think he would be amused if
and
you
I
said
literally
it.
went to Discord and hit the app and went to hit the camera to take a picture, and then had the most like I didn't take my meds today ADHD moment of like, oh, someone posted their art. Oh, so there's new messages in post your art and post your streams.
But it's just like, I'm sure Sam has spent his entire life with being like, ha ha ha, Sam's Cola, that's your cola, ha ha ha. And I was like, you know what though, coming from you, I think he would be oh my gosh. We were like in our third grocery store.
Are you gonna talk about what I think you're about?
Oh
to
my
talk
god,
about?
we're in our
Leave me alone.
third grocery store of like being just like barraged of like stuff being sold out everywhere, but like everything just being like, here's all the party snacks, here's all the this, here's all the this, and it was just like we're 3 stores in where I was like, man, it's kind of annoying.
You were literally like, oh, they're almost out of this thing here too, and you were like, well, I guess that makes sense. There's the holiday, or you said
no, it was like everyone's getting ready for Super Bowl parties.
You didn't say, you were like everybody's getting ready for and then you like kind of like not zoned out, but you just kind of like trailed off, and I was like, they're getting ready for what? What are they getting ready for?
And
Valentine's Day?
And I was like, the Super Bowl, and you're like, at this time of year? And I was like, it's always, what are you talking about? It's always this time of year. Like,
I need to go to the hospital.
You're like, no, don't they usually do that on Thanksgiving? I was like, no, they play football. It's Thanksgiving football's a big deal around here because the Lions always play.
Yeah.
But like never ever has the Super Bowl been on Thanksgiving. And I was like, you have no idea the Super Bowl's about to happen? And she's like, no. And I was like, what about did you not notice the footballs all over your Dr. Peppers? She was like, no.
I just drink them.
What a way to live.
Dr. Pepper, I say, yay, Dr. Pepper, and then I move on. Like, I don't, this is not me judging anybody who gives a shit about football, by the way. I can't. I don't care. I've tried many a time to be like.
It was about to be a rough year for you because if the Lions were in the Super Bowl, like I would be watching.
I know.
Would have been watching football the last 4 weeks.
It's not even rough because again, I can fully accept what's happening around me. Everybody is like, "Oh my god, football!" But people get like weirdly offended when I'm like, "Yeah, I don't care about football. I can't make myself care. Like it's not a choice. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody. I just physically cannot pay attention to a football game."
I think it's like anything else. There was a lot of like ha 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 sports ball, like it's stupid to be into things energy that like came from geeky sex for a while, and now like it's like a lot of geeks have taken it back to be like, no, I'm into sports and that's okay. Like it's okay to be like into nerdy things and in nerdy cultures, but also be like, hey, sports are cool.
Yeah, and I do like certain sports. I can sit for a baseball game. I lost my first tooth at a baseball game, and so
yeah.
I do have like a
weird nostalgia for losing your tooth
for baseball. And like I played t-ball, I played softball. Like I just really do not love football, and I don't really care about football, and that's okay, I think.
I'm trying to catch up on chat. Sam says RuneScape is in some shit right now. I forget what they did, but Sly and all of his friends stopped playing.
What? I don't play it.
But I got told about OSRS drama the other day. I don't know
I gotta
what.
Google that now, cause
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Nick says Tom Green was at war with my old college Photoshop professor like 10 years ago because he had at Tom Green on Twitter. That's kind of amazing. Nick said he never gave it to him. People are nuts. Yeah, people are crazy.
it says that it's a series of projected business decisions, potential monetization options, and leaked surveys for the MMO. These include paywalled features and increased subscription prices, and in-game ads.
Oh, so that
Like, I'm used to I didn't really do the subscription thing. Like, I did a little bit here and there when I had extra money to throw at it and I was, like, really into the game. But if I was just casually playing it, I usually didn't do the membership because I just wasn't using it enough for that. And the game was fun with and without membership. So
if they changed it so that you like had to pay to play that.
if they changed it to where now it's looking like, you have to pay for more for standard features, and that sucks.
Addo said, "How do y'all stream was good and FF10 is amazing. I love it every time I play it through." Yeah, I like that game more every time I play it. Sam said people are so weird about clout. Shiki said you would to something. I don't know what that was in response to anymore. Probably punk_rocker.
Yes.
Addo said I heard punk_waffle instead of rocker.
I kind of love that, honestly.
Hello, Lita. How's it going? Sam said I've never heard of Sam's Cola, to be honest. Oh,
okay. Well, I have to go to Walmart today anyway, so I'll send you a picture of it. It's actually, I like the design. It's really simple and like it's like a red box, and it's just like scrawled with like a blue underline, and it just says Sam's Cola.
Sam says, thank you for thinking of me, Lena.
Yeah.
And I do that all the time, though, where I go to Discord for a specific reason and then get completely derailed.
Yes.
Shiki says, oh, that's stupid. LOL and Punk Waffle. Yeah, Punk Waffle is solid. I wish I would have thought of Punk Waffle.
I'm rethinking my whole username now.
Nick says, does anyone remember Clout? It was a social thing for people with a lot of followers. I used to get passes to movies and concerts and stuff, and the only ask was that you post about it. Yeah. It was like Social Blade, right? But it was like doing that weird, like Movie Pass is coming back, and they're trying to make Movie Pass happen again.
Wait, what's happening?
Do you remember? Did you ever have Movie Pass?
No.
Probably not, because you're not like into movies at the.
I am now. I'm not. I wasn't back when it was a thing, probably.
So Movie Pass was one of the greatest things to ever happen to some of us, like poor people that love movies, because it was $10 a month, and it was one of those venture capital, like, we just need to get users in here and then eventually we'll make money off of them things. But it completely collapsed on itself.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at the shirt.
It's a shirt with a cat and cement, and it says "I eat cement."
And it's the cat with like next to bags of cement. I don't know. I'm easily amused. Apparently, that brain rot stuff just makes me giggle in a way that like it doesn't for you. And I'm just I feel so bad every time because I'm just like,
sometimes it gets me
I
every
find
once
it
in a
funny
while, but
and I'll just be sitting there like cackling, and you're just like, okay, it's just a cat like spinning and making like beep boop noises, and I'm like, yeah, that's funny. You're just like, I guess.
But Movie Pass was $10 a month, and you could go to one movie a day
At the movie theater?
at the movie theater. And it honestly, I think, worked out for the movie theaters too, because Movie Pass was paying for the ticket, and then you would end up buying like popcorn and stuff. Like, that's where they make all their money anyways. but movie theaters got really frustrated with it and shut it down. I think they would be more on board with it these days, but it was like the pre-COVID times where it was their business model wasn't disrupted.
Yeah.
And they were just like, what is this movie pass thing? And they went to war with it. And AMC still has a version of it if you have AMC theaters around you. But it was amazing. I went to so many movies, and I would just like every time I was like sad, I would just go to the movies, and it was $10 a month. And so I would see everything. It was so great. And it's kind of back now. But I'm suspicious, and I think people have said you can only go to like one movie a month or something, and it's like there's no way it's worth whatever they're charging. But it didn't really make super amounts of business sense. It did in that like weird venture capital tech nonsense kind of way of like, we're just building a user base and then eventually we'll be able to advertise to them or whatever they always claim. And then you start having to charge money for RuneScape, and then everyone leaves.
So, like, not to alarm you, but I think I got some of that, like, powder in
The
my...
diatomaceous earth?
Yeah, because, like, my eye has really been bothering me, and I was, like, I was trying to check and see if, like, it was, like... Because at first I felt like my eyelid was kind of, like, closing more than the other one, and I was like, that's weird. And then I'm looking, and it's, like, it just feels, like, itchy.
Yeah, you're not supposed to get it in your eye.
Well, no, I know that. I'm trying to tell you that I may have on accident. And I don't know that. I mean, it would have happened last night, so like you think I would have just like blinked it out by now?
Yeah, it's not world ending if it happens like once or two. It's the people that like work with this stuff every day, and then
so
it's
you're
like,
telling me I shouldn't spray it directly into my eye.
you should definitely not spray it directly into your eye.
Good to know.
Because it's like tiny fossils.
I don't want tiny fossils in my eye.
Nick said, well, this was like 7 or 8 years ago when people still went to the theaters before COVID times. And says, oh, yeah, I remember that with MoviePass. Yeah, MoviePass was amazing. She says, for some reason, my trash cans are across the road, BRB. That happens to us.
A lot. I feel bad. Our neighbors are always like looking out the window as my trash cans roll into their yard. And I'm just like hustling outside being like, come back.
It gets very windy. And then also...
we just forget to bring our trash up. Back up to the house.
I'm always like, I pat myself on the back for remembering to bring it to the road.
Yeah, so
I don't beat myself up about bringing it back. Also, I don't care what other people think of us in the way most people do. So.
I care when it becomes someone else's problem. Like, if you're about to hit my trash can in the road, I'm going to be like, oh no, I need to fix that. Or like, if my trash can is in your yard, I understand if you're going to be not happy with me.
Right, but if my like cans are out an extra day...
Oh, yeah. People get weird and judgy about it. But if they're still in my yard and they're standing straight up and not moving, I don't know why it affects anybody.
I don't have that gene that's just like, oh, my God, like, people are going to think less of me.
The neighbors called the cops on us once because we didn't mow our lawn. So
they did.
I'm just used to living in that environment now where I have to be, like,
which is
hyper-conscious.
Which is why every time you're like, can't we just get chickens? And I'd be like,
absolutely not.
We can't because we have nosy, annoying neighbors.
And they'd instantly just be like, you're not supposed to have chickens. And they'd snitch. They'd snitch on us about chickens. Doesn't even affect them.
But they would.
Neither does our yard. Well, maybe our yard would affect them because it technically it lowers the value over time if you live next to a person whose house is not upkept and whatever, like.
Not right now.
No, not right now because everything is in disarray. But like.
No, but I'm also saying not right now. It's like everything's selling for like still, everything around here is still selling for like cash over what it like. There is a housing crisis happening that people are continuing to like not really acknowledge.
We live in a pretty decent neighborhood. And the people that we live around are very much, like, better off. And, like, so
yeah, we're that house.
I don't care. Like, my kids are happy. My pets are happy. I'm relatively happy. Like,
We are definitely the house that if the neighborhood had to pick one to, like... get rid, but that's fine. I would rather be that house in this neighborhood than be like the rich house in a bad neighborhood or something.
My grandma is one of those ladies too. Like I love her to death, but she's just like, you have a broken like scooter in front of your yard, and I think you should throw it away. And I'm like, okay, I'll get to that, but like honestly, I'm more concerned about, you know, like getting my task for the day done, like getting my work done, or like I don't know, going inside and eating a nice snack or something. Like
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about that scooter outside.
Oh, my absolute dream, like, is to keep the outside basically what it's like. You know, like, but like fixed up, like not like run down, but like have my absolute dream is to like achieve some basic level of like comfort wealth,
Sure.
but to spend it all on the inside and have the outside look like, oh yeah, those people don't have any money. That has always
and then have
been
the inside be like
that's
slightly bougie.
yeah, that's always been my like thing of like
I mean, that's honestly, yeah, like I don't see why that's like less of a thing. Like I don't understand like I understand making your house look nice on the outside if that's what makes you happy. I don't understand it in any other aspect. Like, why do I give a shit about what my neighbors drive by and see my, like, if I walk into my house and my house is like in disarray, I'm more concerned about the inside of my house than the outside of my house.
yeah, because people want like it's a game to people and they want to like have like the appearance like my house looks better than this person's house and
I
like
mean, I would like to plant flowers for myself, and I would like to like have cute trees in front of my house for myself. I want like things in my yard that I like. I don't really care what my neighbors think, like
yeah.
about what that looks like.
Well, and, like if I ever like made money, I would just like I'm such a bad capitalist. I would build like I would get like a big giant thing of land and then build a bunch of houses on it, and then it would just be like people that I vibed with. I would be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
come on out."
I have a question for you.
What's your question?
Was your migraine right here behind your eye? Like right here?
Usually, yeah.
Oh
That's
my
where
God.
they live.
Yeah. I don't know what's happening, but like I've been trying to ignore
Oh my
it.
gosh, Shiki, are you here right now still? Oh, Addo has to go to bed. Goodbye. Good night, Addo.
Good night.
We
Have
love
a
you.
good
Sorry if I took 18 years to read that.
Have a good sleep.
I'm really bad at reading chat today.
Okay.
Shiki, I know you get migraines too, and I had a really bad one on Saturday. Like couldn't drive, had to have Selena drive.
We got home and he went into the bathroom for like at least an hour and a half and just vibed.
Well, my standard have migraine thing is
Go into the
shower, drink a lot of stuff, some of it with caffeine, take Excedrin, and then specifically put on music with weird key signatures. There's something about like the math rock that like takes my brain and like makes it heal. I don't know quite how to explain it. It just works. So I got out of the pain part of it, and for the first time in my life, and I guess this is like very common with migraines, but I had never experienced it before. I had all these post-migraine symptoms that were insane. And like
we thought that I thought, and because you were experiencing it for the first time and I'd never seen you experience it or talk about it, I was ready to like take you to the doctor because you'd been going through other health stuff recently too. So I was like, oh man, but apparently it's very normal.
Like I felt like I was like I didn't feel like I was high or drunk, but my perception of the world was like I was high or drunk. Like it was just like it felt like that. That's the best way I could describe it, of just like, hey, there's like a
You kept kind of like twitching, sort of.
Yeah.
Like you were standing and you went kind of like bobblehead, sort of. Like the kids laugh at me because like I like am trying to like do the same thing and it looks funny, but I can't do it because I think it's like literally just your head moved and it was kind of just like boop boop boop. It was just this little head twitch and like it freaked me out because I was like, you were just like standing there and you were talking and then you did that and I was just like, are you okay? And then our youngest was very like hyper fixated on when you would do it again, be like, oh, dad did it again, and like And you were just very like kind of.
Everyone was like freaking out, and
Well, you were just sort of like out of it after. Like I could tell you were like you weren't like talking slow or like unable to like understand what I was saying, but you definitely seemed sort of like sleepy.
it was also like there was like things would go from like especially if I was standing up, but also while I was sitting down, but like especially if I was standing up, it was like I wasn't gonna lose consciousness, but like it was that like it felt like the dial to like, hey buddy, you're gonna lose consciousness was like going like up and down and up and down and up, like not far enough that you would actually lose consciousness, but like that like swimmy feeling, and it was like happening in waves. And I was like, this is all crazy. But then when I looked at the symptoms, like there are people that have, it's all stuff that people get when they get migraines. And the people that have chronic migraines, they get them every day. Like it's a lot of them have that where it's just like, cool, that's my day-to-day life, which I can't even imagine.
When you came to me and you were like, I feel like I'm dreaming, or like I feel like my perception, I feel high, and I was like, oh, I feel like that like at least once or twice a day. Like what do you mean? Like, is that not how you feel? And you're like, no. I was like, oh well, I don't know how to make that make sense in a way that like I don't know what it is then, because it
was a lot.
Yeah.
It was crazy. So yeah, by the way, that's a thing that can happen with migraines. And then I spent a lot of time reading about people that, because I don't get them. They're definitely migraines, but like,
and they're definitely debilitating to you. Like when you get the bad ones, you are in that bathroom and you are like, I need to shut the light off. I need peace, and just like I need this. Like you don't turn into like, you're not like mean or irritable or anything. You're just very much like you shut down and you go in there, and it's like you're just very like isolated, and you can tell it's like it's really affecting you.
Which is why like half the time when you're like, are you sure? Like, do you need to sit down? Do you need that? I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, I'm pretty good about when I can't do something, like
just being like, okay, I can't do that. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I don't get them very often. It's maybe a handful of times a year. But when I do, they're bad. But then like, yeah, spending all that time reading about people that do get them like daily, I cannot imagine that existence. And then reading about it, and it's just like one of those things where like, yep, we don't know why this happens. Like we know medically that it does enough to like not call these guys liars anymore, but like we don't know why. There's a bunch. I guess for a long time they thought it was linked to intelligence, and they've done enough research to disprove that. But other than that, they're like, we don't know why this happens. So migraines, man, what you gonna do? That was weird though. I've never had that thing of like feeling well, like Vince and I remember like hanging out with Vince when we were kids, and like he had a friend that's been his friend for forever and actually gave us absurd amounts of money on Patreon and stuff, even though he didn't have to, which is very common of a lot of like friends that I'm friends with because of Vince. Like they're incredibly kind and generous people that have kept all of this afloat for the last, handful of years. But I remember being at Vince's house and he woke up and it was like, he was like, I woke up drunk today and I did not drink last night or this morning or like, and I remember that, and that just filed in my brain as like, that's such a weird thing to say. And then now having this information, I'm just like, oh, I wonder if he like experienced a migraine and then was having a focal seizure on the other side of it. And like apparently that's just a thing that can happen. And it is what it is. Samson's brains are scary. Yeah. Yeah. I was not trying to let on how much I was terrified Saturday night. 'Cause I wasn't super scared, but it was definitely weird. And
Yeah, I mean, if you've never had that experience where you're like, I didn't take anything, and I feel like I took some. Like, you literally went into the bathroom and you were like, I have to check and see if I took an Excedrin instead of accidentally grabbing a different medicine bottle because you felt so weird.
yeah. And I was also like, I didn't want to freak you. You guys were already freaked out, and I would be like, I was like, I don't think I should go in. I'm fine. I just like, I need to understand what's happening, and yeah, to have it just be that weird nonsense. Sam is right. Brains are scary. It's very weird,
They are.
and we understand so little about them. By the way, please go check out our YouTube. We've put a lot of work into it. That's what I'm doing with most of the rest of my day, basically until 3 today. I'll be back on here around 3 playing some Final Fantasy. I'm still working on Final Fantasy 2. But other than that, I'm going to be working on our YouTube channel. We've been getting edited down gameplay stuff on there. So it should be a cool, chill, like you're not sitting, you're not catching up by watching hours and hours and hours of gameplay. I edit everything down just to the highlights. So please check that out. Been putting a lot of work to it. Speaking of Patreon and wonderful people that do take care of us, nobody has to ever give us money. It's absurd that so many people do. They're wonderful, and our existence would not really be able to make sense without them. But patreon.com/dorkduck, we are actually running a sale on that right now, where you get 20% off either the first month or 20% off a year on there. And that's the best way to take care of us because it gives us money on the first of the month, which is like when we have to pay bills. And it helps stabilize the small business thing that gets a little weird and crazy sometimes. We do have raid messages. They look like this and this. One with global emotes, one with the fancy ones that Mike designed for us that actually say Dork Raid. So you can copy those and paste them where we're going, which I have to decide on here because Sam's in the middle of his vacation. Let's go Bug Cap. It's been a while since we've been able to say hey over there. So, yeah, how dare you take time off, Sam? God. But we're going to go say hi to Cap. Please be kind to our friends. This is where I say be honest, be kind, be useful. Live a good fucking life. I'll be live later today at 3 with more Final Fantasy, and we'll be live tomorrow with more Dork Duck Daily.
Yay.
Bye.
Goodbye. Farewell. Have a good day. Okay, stop. I couldn't even hear myself.